is the only real difference between the races of mankind the color of their skin. The globalist media sends us conflicting signals. On the one hand, they tell us that diversity is good. On the other, they tell us that all human beings are the same. They tell us constantly that the only difference among humans is the color of their skin. Is that really true? Or is it equivalent to believing that the world is flat? Take a look at this clip from the 2008 Olympics.
And a fair start, a Safa pound. Usain Bolt is also out well. Here they come down the track.
In the finals, Usain Bolt set a new world record for the 100-meter dash, an incredible sports achievement. But did you notice something else? Usain Bolt and every other one of the 8 finalists were either Africans or of African descent living in other countries. Here's a list of the world record-breaking 100-meter performances since 1968. Every one of the last 18 world record breakers from 68 to the present were Africans. So, why can Africans sprint faster than Europeans and Asians? Especially if the difference is only color of skin. Does their skin color make them run faster? And how the heck can skin color make somebody run faster? Got to be something else, don't you think? And it certainly is not because whites and Asians are prevented from competing in the 100-meter dash. In fact, around the world, at least 25 times more young non-Africans compete in organized track and field than do Africans. And the fame and fortune as a sports star is a huge incentive to anybody. Now, here's a quick clip from the basketball slam dunk contest of the NBA to the tune of a popular black rap song called That In Can Jump. The winner is that little black guy named Spud Webb. He's 5'7" tall, 170 centimeters short. The rim is 10 feet or about 3 meters high. Now, scientists know why Africans can run faster and are gifted in quick bursts of speed and jumping ability. Genetic, physiological differences in structure and muscle composition give them a competitive advantage in sprinting and jumping. At the same time, Europeans and Asians completely dominate sports that demand great strength and muscle control. For instance, in the 2008 Olympics, Asians and Europeans were every one of the gold medalists in every type of weightlifting competition and in every single weight class. In gymnastics, Europeans and Asians completely dominate the sport. In swimming, it's the same thing. We could go on and on and on. As a group, Africans are faster in quick bursts of speed. Europeans and Asians are stronger. There is a real racial difference. So to pretend that racial differences are just skin deep is as scientifically bogus as believing that the world is flat. In fact, there are many differences among the peoples of mankind. There are differences in diseases among the races, even how different races react to certain medicines and drugs. There are hormonal differences, and there are certainly differences in brain structure and physiology. Now, this is proven by numerous MRI studies that look directly into the brain and show clearly the differences among population groups. And of course, there are profound differences in behavioral patterns and cultures between the races. If you think that behavior and other psychological differences are completely the result of environment, then you might as well believe the world is flat, because science has proven that you inherit far more than just the color of your skin or your eyes or your hair. Many aspects of your personality and behavior have strong genetic components as well. It is proven by thousands of scientific studies. For instance, identical twins who completely share the genetic heritage, who are separated from birth, are closer in IQ and many behavioral traits than fraternal twins who remain together, raised in the same home. Raised in the same home by the same parents, identical twins are much closer in behavior and IQ than fraternal twins. Please read my book, My Awakening. I share with you the latest scientific evidence from the world's top scientists. And read the works of scientists such as J. Philippe Rushton. Read all sides and think for yourself rather than letting the mass media do your thinking for you. The foreword of my book was written by the late and great Glade Whitney, a professor at Florida State University and once head of the Behavioral Genetics Association of the United States. Dr. Whitney describes my awakening as, quote, a painstakingly documented, academically excellent work of sociobiological political history, providing on the order of 1,000 references and footnotes. You can even listen to chapters from my book on these subjects at my website, davidduke.com, absolutely free. The fact is that profound differences among the peoples of the world is not a bad thing. It's a wonderful thing. Those differences create the varied expressions and beauty in mankind. The differences in culture, societies, music, art, and in countless other expressions of life and creativity. The globalists want to crush the real diversity of mankind. You see, they want us all to be blind consumers of their junk movies, junk music, junk food, and junk values. They want to have power over us the same way that the ancient Romans sought power over the Mediterranean world. Romans suppressed the natural differences of the people they ruled over, but despite Roman economic advantages, peoples still wanted their independence and freedom and preservation of their own unique culture and character. And rightfully so. We don't need a McDonald's on every corner supersizing the world, making us fat and sick. We don't need Hollywood-run universal media that promotes violence and bloodlust and drugs, alcohol abuse, and the sex habits of bonobo monkeys rather than loving human beings, rather than the higher values of mankind. We don't need a handful of weirdos in the music industry and MTV deciding what kind of music all of humanity must listen to. I say down with globalism, up with diversity and the wonderful, unique expressions of humanity and their preservation and their freedom on this planet. As a young man, I wanted to believe that all humans are the same because I was told that the idea of human sameness leads to love and peace. No matter how the media portrays me, I truly want love and peace for the world. But the globalists who rule over us are actually creating a world of conflict, hate, repression, and war. Take a look around. But over the years, I've learned that denial of human differences leads to conflict. Every people want to preserve its own heritage and culture. It's true for Tibetans, for Chinese, and just as true for Africans or Arabic Muslims or people from Sweden, or for that matter, people from Des Moines, Iowa. It is the natural thing as much as the urge to breathe is. In studying conflict around the world, the United Nations found that the vast majority of civil wars and conflicts have at root been ethnic or racial conflicts. We must understand, respect, and appreciate ethnic differences. Then we can allow people to have their own living space and their own independence and sovereignty. When we work for that reality, we actually will lessen conflict and hatreds. Look, for instance, at the massive migration of Jews into Palestinian areas. Did that result in love and peace and brotherhood, or the opposite? People have the right to be different. They have the right to want to live and preserve their characteristics, both physical and psychological and cultural, that make them unique and distinct. They also have the right to be independent and to run their own affairs. And that is true freedom. By pretending differences are only a matter of skin color, we deny people the right to be different. If you believe that the only difference between races is the color of skin, you might as well go ahead and believe that the earth is flat. You can also believe, as people did for a long time, that mercury heals rather than makes people sick. You know, ignoring the real differences that exist among humanity is like saying it doesn't matter that mercury is dumped in our streams and oceans. For a long time, we didn't think it mattered. Ultimately, if you deny the diversity and distinctions among the differences among mankind, you deny their human rights. This is true for all people on the earth. Understanding reality ultimately leads to solving real problems. Believing in ridiculous superstitions like the only difference between races is the color of skin ultimately leads to human conflict rather than human understanding. There are many more differences among people than the color of skin. Let us celebrate them, and let us preserve them, and preserve human rights and freedom.